Be vegan, make peace. Do good deeds. Heaven, Godspeed.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Наши программы предлагают много языков. Пожалуйста, посмотрите suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Veganism is not just a diet. Veganism is a way of life. When you eat a vegan meal, your meal becomes an expression of compassion and love.
Continue watching to find out more.
Vegan, harvester of boundless merit.
My Vegan Journey is a series of shows featuring ordinary people making extraordinary changes in their lives by switching to a compassionate diet. People from all walks of life, countries, and backgrounds are coming to the realization that a vegan diet is the only viable solution to most of the major challenges we face today, including environmental degradation, species extinction, and the emergence of zoonotic diseases like COVID-19. Their inspirational, real-life stories show us that every one of us has the power to help create heaven on earth for ourselves, those we love, and the world through a simple dietary choice.
Greetings, inspired viewers. Non moi c'est Diana means my name is Diana. In French Creole, one of the 4 main Creole languages spoken in Dominica, also known as the Nature Isle of the Caribbean. The kind-hearted people of Dominica send you their sincere good wishes for all your noble efforts to protect our co-inhabitants. Welcome to our show, My Vegan Journey, Reverend Andrew Bear Vegan, Saving Your Soul with Veganism, Part 1 of 2. On today's show, we meet with Reverend Andrew Bear Vegan. Besides working as a chaplain at a community hospital, Reverend Bear is also a musician, an animal people activist, and a practicing Buddhist. Join us as we discover the fascinating life of Reverend Bear in this 2-part show. As vegetarianism and veganism were rather uncommon in the times and surroundings in which he grew up, Reverend Bear was raised on the standard American diet and thus largely unaware of these more benevolent diets. In Reverend Bear's case, it was not until a serendipitous meeting with the respected Buddhist teacher Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh Vegan that his journey into veganism began.
I was first exposed to vegetarian ideals through Buddhism. Once I had moved to California, I found myself drawn to the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, and I attended a week-long mindfulness retreat with Thich Nhat Hanh. All of Thich Nhat Hanh's centers and monasteries are completely vegan. So that was the first time I had ever eaten vegan food. And at that retreat, I was moved to take refuge in the Buddha and enter the Buddhist path. And I also received the 5 precepts in the Buddhist tradition. And in Thich Nhat Hanh's tradition, they call them mindfulness trainings. They're not hard and fast rules, but principles that we work with in our life. And the first mindfulness training, the first precept says, I am determined not to kill, not to let others kill, and not to support any act of killing in the world, in my thinking, or in my way of life. And so in receiving that mindfulness training, I realized that I need to start making changes to the way I eat.
Reverend Bear recalls a Buddhist story told by Thich Nhat Hanh that awakened the urgency within him to turn away from a life of eating flesh and go vegetarian.
The Buddha then said that if we do not consume with compassion, that we are eating our sons and daughters' flesh. Then Thich Nhat Hanh began talking about the environmental impacts of animal agriculture, of animal flesh and products, pointing out the many environmental consequences of a meat-based diet, such as carbon emissions, deforestation, ocean dead zones, consumption of water and land resources, and so on, and said that if we continue to eat the flesh and products of animals, that it's the same thing as eating our children. And he encouraged us to eat with mindfulness and compassion. And it was at that talk that I decided that I would officially become vegetarian.
For 8 years, Reverend Bear was vegetarian, believing that he was living a benevolent life in accordance with his faith, until he learned about the devastating impact of the dairy industry.
I have to admit that when I was vegetarian, I was really not aware of the suffering that was involved in producing milk, dairy products, and eggs. I was completely unaware of that. I thought it was rather benign. But when I finally learned about this from watching films and documentaries, I knew that I would need to make more change and become vegan.
So, in 2010, Reverend Bear made a New Year's resolution to going 100% vegan and has been vegan ever since. Our beloved Supreme Master Ching Hai Vegan has praised those who seek the truth without discrimination.
Because the first thing an enlightened person get rid of is discrimination, racism, thinking who is better than whom. And anyone who has no discrimination like that, between religions, between race, between creeds, between nations, between colors of the skin, between professions, between education, these are the enlightened people.
Vegan side effect: getting used to sound real sleep.
Compassionate viewers, we are going to take a short break to pray for the world to follow and adopt the virtues that are being preached in all religions with no exceptions. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back, wise viewers, as we explore the life of Reverend Andrew Bear, vegan, a man devoted to truth. Other than performing his duties as a chaplain in the hospital, where he offers comfort to the terminally ill, Reverend Bear spends most of his free time tirelessly fighting to protect the lives of the precious people from the animal kingdom through a very noble organization that we have featured here on Supreme Master Television, Dharma Voices for Animals. Reverend Bear is the U.S. chapter ambassador at Dharma Voices for Animals, an international Buddhist organization devoted to animal advocacy and bringing the vegan lifestyle to other Buddhist centers. Their projects in Sri Lanka, Vietnam, and Thailand are helping to advance animal people welfare legislation and educate children, parents, and teachers about the benefits of a plant-based diet. Not one to turn away the chance to do even more for animal people, Reverend Bear is also an ambassador for Animal Justice in California, a search and rescue responder for the Wildlife Emergency Services, and a volunteer wildlife rehabilitator at the Wildlife Center of Silicon Valley.
I'm drawn to relieve the suffering of any living being. So whether it's a human being, or a cow, or a pig, or any other animal, if they're suffering, I feel called to try to relieve that suffering. And I can assure any person that if they were ever put in a cage, abused, and were about to be killed, that I'm definitely going to stick up for them.
Reverend Bear advocates for veganism because he believes that it's not simply the only way to liberate animal people from the cruelty and oppression of exploitation, but also the best way to stop harming our Mother Earth. He does not trust that animal people could get humane treatment if they are meant to be killed as food commodities in today's food system and the animal people raising industry.
When people participate in the consumption of animal flesh and products, they're clearly participating in exploitation and oppression of animals. There's no way to be compassionate or benevolent if you're killing an animal that doesn't want to die. There's no right way to do the wrong thing.
As part of Reverend Bear's ongoing activism, he regularly participates in the local events held by animal people rights organizations.
Groups like Anonymous for the Voiceless go out into the community, bringing images of animal suffering into public spaces, and then engaging the public in conversations about what they're seeing. Groups like Direct Action Everywhere are engaged in bold activism that also help dramatize and bring awareness to the plight of animals.
Human slaughter is a lie! Animals do not want to die! Human meat is a lie! Human milk is a lie! Human eggs is a lie! Their bodies not our, their babies! Their skin! Their lives! What do we want? Animal liberation! When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it?
Veganism is not just a diet. Veganism is a way of life. It's a moral position against the exploitation and harm of any living being. And I would suggest not thinking of veganism as giving up meat or dairy, but rather think of veganism as no longer participating in the mass exploitation and murder of innocent living beings. When you eat a vegan meal, your meal becomes an expression of compassion and love. So it's not like you're giving up something, it's like you're embracing a more compassionate way of life. Every meal is an offering of compassion. And know that every meal you have, you're sending a message to the animals of this world that you are doing your part to create a better world.
Enlightened viewers, Reverend Bear echoes what our beloved Supreme Master Ching Hai Vegan has said about veganism awakening our compassion and helping us to rediscover our innate God nature.
Veganism is not just about the animal people suffering, but it's about our own love and compassion. Then we remember it, we uncover that again, so that quality will shine forth. Yeah, will be nurtured, will grow big. That's when you awaken yourself and reclaim your power of love and compassion. This power will enable you to be more enlightened.
To learn more about the work of Reverend Andrew Bear Vegan, please visit facebook.com/DVA Silicon Valley and animaljustice.ca. Thank you, Reverend Bear, for your unwavering dedication to the well-being of our precious animal friends, as well as the awakening of humanity to the importance of the compassionate, earth-saving vegan lifestyle. May you be forever protected by the Buddha.
There's a misconception that vegan food can't have the same amount of flavor as non-vegan dishes, but I want to prove that plant-based food is just as delicious, if not more so. Make long vegan.
Serene viewers, thank you for being here with us today. Please join us again on next Wednesday, November 23rd, for the concluding part of My Vegan Journey, Reverend Andrew Bear Vegan, Saving Your Soul with Veganism. Coming up next is King Solomon and the Three Brothers, Part 2 of 4 on Between Master and Disciples, right after noteworthy news. May our world quickly transition to the compassionate vegan way of living in heaven's delight.
Be vegan, make peace, do good deeds, hell not reach.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/VEG.